Здравствуйте. Welcome back to Vox Terra. Today I want to talk about the brutal winter storms, yet we have a heating planet, and making sense out of that. Well, there's a headline from a 2018 Scientific American article that I think should have been screaming headline news at the time, and it really shows the connection between the extreme weather and our heating planet. And I think the reason why the media sort of overlooks all of these climate-related issues when it comes to extreme weather and underreports them is because of the power and influence of the fossil fuel petrochemical industries. Now, there's another reason too, and I'll get to that reason at the end of this video. So from that article, the Arctic climate is shattering record after record. Altering weather worldwide by Jennifer A. Francis. The swift warming is altering the jet stream and the polar vortex, prolonging heat waves, droughts, deep freezes, and heavy rains worldwide. So point one to keep in mind when you're experiencing these cold, brutal winters, yet hearing the planet's heating, is that global warming, which is what they used to call it before the name changed to climate change, global warming really refers to the overall average global temperatures. The globe overall is heating by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit, according to NASA, according to climate.nasa.gov, since the 1880s, and that when the Industrial Revolution started. And that heating has been strongest in the past 25 years, with a spike in the last 5 years. Now, that heating is also correlated to all the increase in carbon in the atmosphere, which again is correlated to the excessive burning of fossil fuels. Key to keep in mind with this is that the Arctic is heated far more rapidly than the rest of the planet. Now, the reason the Arctic's heating up quicker is because of a process called amplification or feedback. What's happening is, as that Arctic sea ice is disappearing, there's more exposed dark water now to absorb more heat. As that Arctic ice is disappearing, that reflective quality of the ice to reflect heat off of the Earth is also disappearing. So the Arctic is kind of heating itself up now. So what's happening is that temperature differential between the poles and the equator isn't as drastic as it was. And these air currents, the Earth's air currents, like the jet stream, the polar vortex, the air currents that are key to having a stable, predictable climate are becoming out of whack because we're losing that circulation from cold to hot, from pole to equator, that keeps those air currents flowing at a more predictable rate. So in the case of the jet stream, by losing that pole, the jet stream can just slump down and allow those colder temperatures to slump with them. In the case of the polar vortex refers to an air current that circulates the Arctic and sort of pins that cold Arctic air in place. There's something called, according to NOAA, the upper stratospheric polar vortex, which resides in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Now you might have heard about something called sudden stratospheric warming. Well, again, we've had record high heat in the Arctic, and the Arctic Ocean is hotter as well. So this sudden stratospheric warming then displaces or weakens that polar vortex. And then, quoting from a NOAA article, which I'll post in the description section below this video, the cold air bottled up near the polar cap is allowed to escape and expand into the middle latitudes, such as the United States, Europe, and parts of Asia. Now, according to Inside Climate News, and again, I'll post those links, the jet stream has been getting weaker over the past few decades. And also, according to Inside Climate News, which is citing the American Meteorological Society, some northern regions have been getting hit with more extreme cold spells more frequently over the past 4 decades. So again, we're seeing that weaker jet stream over time, and we're seeing more of these extreme cold spells as that Arctic air is allowed to slump down. Now, don't confuse it with the fact the planet is heating, and winters overall in many places have gotten milder, but now they're punctuated with these extreme cold snaps. Well, now, what about the heavier snows that some places are getting? Well, there's 2 things with that. One is as that jet stream has gotten sluggish and more out of whack, the sluggishness of the jet stream allows for those weather fronts to just sort of linger and linger. So if it's a storm, the storm can linger longer, as we've seen with hurricanes. But in addition to the sluggishness of the jet stream, the hotter air masses retain more moisture, and hotter water bodies give up more. So we've also had a heating of the oceans, some of the larger lakes. And what happens is those air masses pass over, they're going to give up more water and then retain more moisture. So when it rains, it really rains. When it snows, it really snows. Or when it's dry, it really stays dry. You can think, if you live near the Great Lakes, you can think about that phenomena called lake effect, whereby a warmer lake can actually give up more moisture into those colder air bodies to then dump more snow. So we have that heating Arctic throwing the air currents out of whack, like the jet stream and the polar vortex. We have the hotter planet overall, allowing the atmosphere to retain more moisture and those hotter oceans give up more moisture, leading to greater and stronger precipitation events. And then I attribute it to the general underreporting we've had for the past number of decades about climate issues and environmental issues in general due to that influence of the fossil fuel petrochemical industries. But another factor is also just the nature of science. Scientists tend to talk in terms of probability. Well, that doesn't make for great news because it's only more likely that this hotter planet is going to make more of these sudden stratospheric warming events. It's only more likely this hotter planet will lead to stronger hurricanes. See, it's all a matter of likelihood. Scientists have a 90% certainty before they attribute a cause. So the problem is it's hard to get them to go on the air and really say something definitive. And the public doesn't understand that way of thinking in general because we're not really trained scientists, average people. So we're not getting why they're not coming out and being more definitive. Then they're ignored. Another game a lot of people like to engage in, scientists included in this, is would this event have happened but for global warming, but for man-made global warming? Well, that's an impossible game to play. A better way to think about it is this planet is hotter, the air masses are hotter, the oceans are hotter, and all the weather patterns and changes in disease vectors, for that matter, are born out of this hotter planet. Well, I hope you found this video helpful in explaining how the hotter planet can lead to more drastic and extreme winter events. And if you did, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel. You've clicked that notification bell. Maybe you can share the videos to help promote the channel. And comment, consider supporting a PayPal or Patreon. And until next time, peace be with you.